Hello gamers, welcome to the channel. Today I've got another episode of Will It Play, the series where I try to inform you just how well games will play on your favorite handheld devices without you, the gamer, needing to make any changes to the settings, whether it's the system or in-game settings. This is really geared more towards the gamer that just wants to be able to download a game and jump straight in, more of that download and go mentality. If you watched my latest videos, then you know that I'm currently going through the Borderlands series. I've already covered Borderlands 1, 2, and 3, and today, on the release date of the Borderlands movie, I'm coming to you with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Now, if you're not familiar with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, this is not your traditional Borderlands game. First off, it's a spin-off on the Borderlands 2 DLC, Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, but this game isn't one that fits into the actual regular Borderlands series and storyline. It's its own thing. Think Dungeons & Dragons meets Borderlands, where the chaotic Tiny Tina is the dungeon master, and that's kind of the recipe for this game. So join me today as we answer the question, will it play? First up, as always, is the Steam Deck LCD. Right off the bat, we can see that this is a pretty intensive game on our system, with that CPU usage averaging around 68%, and our GPU usage is maxing out at that 99%, so a pretty demanding game. Looking at our FPS, we're looking at the low to mid 40s on average, and we're not really seeing much of a variance during combat here.
Well, it's settled, isn't it? You're like a monster! I'm going to eat your brain, hero! Cleared everyone out and you're still alive, huh? You better grab that shrine piece. Saves me a trip.
What is that you see? Why, 'tis a shrine piece.
So, this guy's totally gonna try and kill us, right?
Totally.
Girls say what?
His name is literally Backstab.
That's probably just it.
Next up is the Steam Deck OLED, and as for that CPU and GPU usage, we're not seeing much of a variance compared to the LCD model. That CPU usage is still averaging in the high 60s to low 70s, and the GPU usage is still maxing out at that 99%. What surprised me though is what we're seeing with our FPS. During combat, I'm seeing a lot more dips into the 30s than I was seeing on the LCD version, but at our highest, we're still sitting in the low to mid 40s.
Clear the square! This is where we make our stand! For the Queen!
allies, you've done it! The undead horde has been defeated! For now. Ba-ba-bum.
For the Queen! It feels so good to be a hero!
Moving on to the ROG Ally Z1 Extreme version, starting off in that 15-watt performance mode, and we can see off the bat that with this Z1 Extreme processor, we're seeing a much lighter load on our CPU usage, seeing, for the most part, numbers in the high teens to low 20s here, with just a couple of jumps during combat. Our GPU usage is still pretty intense though, in the high 90s, and our frames per second are not amazing in the performance mode, sitting in the mid to high 20s.
Still time to run the other way. That's my good stuff.
Next up, we're checking out that 25-watt unplugged turbo mode. The CPU usage has jumped up a little bit with this turbo mode, jumping into that mid 30 percentile range, and that GPU usage is still in the high 90s, which is expected. The improvements we're seeing here though are with the FPS, with us seeing numbers in the high 40s, pushing up into the 50s at times during combat.
Never a moment. Step into your grave. Well, settled isn't it? Can't wait to throw some spills!
Be sure to pick the most vile loincloth you can find, my lord. Our goblin must be pick of the litter.
And then last up, we're plugging it in for that 30-watt turbo mode, and as expected, not much of a change in the CPU and GPU usage, but here is where we're really starting to shine in terms of FPS, with those frames per second pushing up into the 70s consistently during combat here. So if you are an Ally user, you'll definitely see performance improvements by playing this plugged in.
arcane face! Like meat before the sight! Earth-rending! Hold like rubbish. Guide.
So, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, will it play? I'm going to give this one another yes. On your Steam Deck, you're looking at around 40 frames per second during combat, which I would say is probably the bare minimum of a game like this, but definitely playable. On the ROG Ally, if you're playing, I would put it in one of the turbo modes, whether it's unplugged or plugged in. You're definitely getting better experience with playing it plugged in. You're getting better metrics there. But in that 15-watt performance mode, I wouldn't say it's the greatest experience. So if you are an Ally user, make sure you're playing in one of those turbo modes. It's just going to be a better experience for you overall. The Borderlands movie did release today, so really just kind of hoping that this is getting a lot of eyes on this amazing game series. I think Borderlands itself is one of the greatest video game series ever made. I think it's a heck of a time, and I'm really hoping that people are checking out the games, whether it's their first time experiencing the Borderlands universe or if they're veteran players that are diving back into it after a couple years out of it. Really just hoping that it's kind of the hot topic and this game is getting the praise and recognition that it so definitely deserves. If you have been playing any of the Borderlands games lately, I'd love to hear about your experience. If you found this video informative, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel because your support means everything. Thanks everybody, and game on.